Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Daily Thread. We have some interesting stories to talk about. One of them not so good. You heard about that Pesach program that went belly up. So we're going to get to that in this episode of the Daily Thread. Okay, so this Pesach program was supposed to take place in New Jersey, and they sent a letter out to the people who are signing up for the program saying, "Dear guests, it's with great pain that we are forced to notify you of this unfortunate and unprecedented situation. When the program was moving along nicely while our dedicated team was working tirelessly to make it a true success, we were hit with a huge financial scam. We are not sure at this point if we can continue. We're trying to find an alternative option. Should we be successful at it, we will notify you immediately. One of our team members will personally reach out to you, Be'ez Hashem, within 24 hours. Any payments that were made this morning will not be processed unless we reach a resolution. We hope to be able to share good news very soon." The event team. So this is what we call a Pesach nightmare. So
Right.
a lot of rumors flying around, and this program was I would call it pretty star-studded. Some of the names on the flyer, entertainment wise, that were supposed to be there was Rabbi Ben Sion Schaefer, Rabbi Menachem Nissel, Uri Davidi, Yehuda Green, Eli Marcus, Yumi Lowy, Rabbi Dr. Aaron Glatt. So they're supposed to have like a nice star-studded lineup in the Claridge Hotel, and rumors started flying. Like, what happened? So rumors started flying about like what happened. So there's a message over here that I see that's been posted around, and it says it's a message going around from the operator, right? And it says like this. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
It says like this. "I just want to give you the real story, so just in case you believe you did the right thing by smearing me, you'll be able to know just how bad it was." So this is a potential explanation. Do you know what I'm about to read? Have you heard this yet?
No, I haven't seen that. No, I'm hearing about it for the first time.
We did have it very difficult at the beginning, since large families that did come to us in the past were not too happy with our new location. This did cause us to be late with the payment schedule, but we were able to renegotiate the contract based on the early slow rates, and we were doing fine until this week when the payments were not getting to them. The hotel accused us of playing games and sending fake confirmation emails about wires that we actually did send out. My accountant was saying they had asked to switch to a different account as per the copy I sent you earlier, and this was going back and forth. Today, when we were ready to start cleaning the kitchen, the hotel told us we were playing games, and although we said we sent them the wires, they didn't receive it. I showed them the email with the request to change the bank to PNC, and that's when it all became clear. If you look closely, you'll see an extra R after Claridge.com. This proved to be that the hotel wasn't our fault. This proved to the hotel that it wasn't our fault, but they were too caught up in the fact that we got a good deal and they didn't get the money as promised. Ultimately, it turned out to be a wire fraud scam. At this point, they were looking at us as to say, you guys got scammed, and you'll be able to pull it off, and you'll never be able to pull it off and pay us again. So they opened the hotel to the public. I begged and cried and told them that we will take the loss and pay again, but it fell on deaf ears. We still got a new confirmation every few minutes that we have to turn down and tell them we are not able to go forward.
So they're closed. They're not opening, apparently, right?
It does not seem they're opening. The end of this letter says, now about the vendors, they like to be paid up front on Pesach. Due to the risk of Pesach programs having to shut down last minute, we were not in a rush to pay them before the hotel was completely paid, since the orders were in and we had time to do it. After that last hotel payment that was supposed to be sent to the hotel but went to some crook. Now that you probably feel dumb, I want to know that I'll not forgive you in this world or in the next world." So I don't know exactly the backstory.
Who signed that letter?
Heshi.
Just Heshi?
I don't know who exactly badmouthed. Supposedly someone on social media was badmouthing them and saying they weren't happy with their sales. So 5 days before Pesach, they decided to shut down, which, to be honest, it puts people in a nearly impossible situation where, what are you doing for Pesach with your family? You certainly, probably not going to be able to get to another hotel.
Well, listen, as you know, we've been going away for Pesach, not every year. It's been a lot of years, Baruch Hashem. But I would say since before you were born, probably since before Nissan was born. So I would say probably 30 years. And we've been home, but we've been going. We also experienced a lot of hotels in different places, Florida, different parts of Florida, here in New York, upstate, so on and so forth. And during every cycle of these hotel venues that are offered to the public, largely through social media, through the newspapers, there's a statistical situation that happens where someone doesn't open. It's like musical chairs. You ever play musical chairs when you were a kid? And the music stops and somebody is left standing. And guess what? That person is out. So who has to scamper around more? The people that were going to daven and sing there or lecture there, or the guests that weren't planning on being home? And it's very. I don't suspect anybody of anything, but I have to tell you that it's 5 days before Yontif. These things, if this in fact did happen the way they say it happened, they would have known about it weeks ago. You can't. The thing that bothers me is that you can't find out about it when you come to Kasher the kitchen and find out that the hotel didn't get the money, so they're opening up to the public and forgetting the Pesach program. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I would say, is the thing they should do right away is call the police and get a detective on it. I don't know which bank the payments went through, but the bank,
someone has the money.
The bank has liability. The bank is liable.
One second, not for a wire fraud. I sent a wire recently when I was buying a home, and they told me call up the people that you're wiring and confirm every single letter of the email, of the routing number, confirm every single thing so you make sure you're wiring to the right place. That's not the bank's responsibility. They don't have to ensure that.
No, they didn't want you to send it accidentally to someplace else. But here, a person actually defrauded them.
Okay, so that's not the bank's problem. That's a crime, and that person needs to be found and dealt with accordingly. But that's not the bank's problem.
No, the bank. According to what you told me, what I just heard about it for the first time, according to what you said, it's the Claridge Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and you told me that they added an R to the word Claridge. The scammers did. The scammers. Okay, has some liability in that, Nafi.
I don't think so at all. Why would the bank be liable for that? Someone scammed. They didn't get a message from the bank. They got a message from some scammer.
But the bank facilitated the wire to a wrong name. Can you imagine if I send a wire for $100,000 to Nachi Borden with a B? I'm going to say, well, it sounded like it, so we let the wire go through. It sounded close enough, but it's a different person.
I'm sorry, but how the bank is supposed to go through every single person's wire and say, are you sure this is the correct spelling? It is known that if you're going to send a wire for millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, you need to be checking, triple checking, quadruple checking that every single letter is correct. They got scammed. That's not the bank's problem, but that's not either the story.
You ever try to send an email to somebody and you forgot to put the dot before .com?
Okay, but this isn't...
Email's not going through.
But that's because there's a uniform way to send an email. There's no uniform way to send a wire. Everyone has different information.
Yeah, there's only one way to send the wire. That's the correct way.
No,
you have to send it to the correct name. And what if Claridge? Someone had an account with 2 R's. Obviously, someone set up an account with 2 R's. If there were 4 R's, would they would have noticed it? You think?
You know what? I think the audience is going to agree with me on this one again.
I have no problem.
Because they usually do.
That's not true. Maybe they tell you that, but I don't hear that. I hear differently.
But listen, you brought up a good point. Who's in a more crazy situation? The guests that were supposed to come, the owners of the program, or the entertainers that either were supposed to get paid or get a free yontif?
I don't know. The hotels that I know about that I've been doing business with for the last 4 months in the newspaper, they're largely sold out. They stopped advertising a few weeks ago because they are sold out. And it's not so easy. It's not COVID where you could, get into a hotel that still has 50 rooms available. The hotels are sold out. Baruch Hashem, we advanced past the COVID.
So what do these people do? What does Uri Davidi do for Yontif now? It's so crazy.
I don't know, but Nachi, it's not the first time it happened. It's happened many times. It's happened many
I
times
haven't
over
heard-
the years.
I haven't heard of a wire fraud scheme 5 days before Yontif.
No.
And also, can I ask a question? The people who did pay from that email, right? From that email, it did not sound to me like they intend on returning money to the people that paid 3 months ago to go there for Pesach.
It didn't sound
Because
like that. It sounded like
the money's
that-
gone.
Right, the money's gone. Money's gone, and the money's gone. Listen,
So let's say someone's going with either taking 3-4 rooms in a hotel, they're spending $35,000-$40,000 to go to Pesach. You're not getting Pesach in the hotel, and you don't get the money.
listen, people.
You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds to me like a class action lawsuit.
Yeah, but that'll take three to 5 years to go wind its way through the courts. So good luck. But people that had investments in Signature Bank, if you had an account in Signature Bank, the federal government is covering it, even though they're supposed to cover by law the FDIC up to only $250,000. They're covering everything. Even people that that had millions of dollars in the bank are covered. But you should know that the people that had stock in Signature Bank lost everything. The stock is gone, poof, into the air. Doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. There's no more
Yeah.
Signature Bank. It's not called Signature Bank anymore. What's it called? Some other bank took it over. I don't remember what bank took it over.
Something the family something the first Citizen First Bank something.
I don't know.
I think they bought it. Anyways, yeah. Well, we wish everyone in that program listen. That's terrible. It's really unfortunate that happened, and
Yeah.
for the
All right.
owners.
What to do with all the food that was paid for? I mean, it's hard for me to believe
They should send it.
No,
They should send it to the. They should send it to the people who signed up. Although it didn't sound like they paid the vendors yet. That's the thing. They
That's
didn't
also
pay the vendors.
that's so highly unusual. The vendors need to be paid first. You're telling me that it's Thursday. This happened yesterday or Tuesday, let's say. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. You're telling me that the shmur matzah was not there yet. The shmur matzah was baked over Hanukkah. Since Hanukkah, they're baking shmur matzah. The matzah is
I
there.
don't
The
know.
wine is there. Nobody was paid. Everybody has enough experience where they don't have to deal with that. But we were at one Pesach program about I think 11 years ago, where we came to the first time ever. We came to the table the first night of Yontif, to the Seder table, and the table was empty. There wasn't even a tablecloth on the table. We had a table number, and it was a wooden table, a blank wooden table. They just couldn't get it. They
Not
just couldn't get it
prepared.
together. They weren't prepared. They had they tried to cut corners on staff, and on food, and thankfully it wasn't a 3-day yontif, but it was a disaster. As a matter of fact, I remember we were there the whole yontif.
Abba, it didn't have to be a 3-day yontif. It was an 8-day yontif.
Yeah, I'm talking about the first day Chol Hamoed, I was able to come back here to go to the supermarket and buy stuff and bring back there because they didn't have anything to eat. Anyway, but it's you're in an unusual stuck situation when that happens. Anyway, since we're talking about food, I wanted to bring something to your attention, but I have to find
You
it
love
on
talking
my
about
phone.
food.
Well, this is a very food-centric holiday. I established that a while ago, and you don't let me talk about it. So,
I mean, I don't let. You can talk about anything you want as long as you have the story in front of you.
yeah, okay. I have the story in front of me. It's right here. Okay, it's right here. It's right here. The story in front of me. Israelis are expected to spend 7.8 billion shekel. That's $2.2 billion. You hear this? On food during Passover week, during Pesach week. Israelis are spending $2.2 billion. Listen to this. Of which 250,000 tons, valued at 1.9 billion shekel, or $529 million, will go to waste, according to a study by Leket Israel. In Israel, the expenditure on food is relatively high compared to other Western countries. Waste is a significant contributor to the high cost of living through both needless expenditures on food and inflated prices caused by unnecessary demand. People overbuy for Pesach. I'm talking about people at
Panic.
home. We should. By the way, on the other subject, we should say that we're talking about the hotels opening and closing. It's like that's Pesach, but that's Pesach for maybe 2 or 3% of the population. 90.
Yeah, listen, these people. I'm just the reason which I'm talking about it is because it's more than Pesach. It's just people are getting scammed out of tens of thousands of dollars, and they're 5 days before Pesach, sort of just being thrown for. Well, sorry, like figure it out. Like I just don't know what they're gonna do. But I don't. How is that money going to waste? Meaning they just buy too much.
They
too
buy,
much food?
they buy too much. They buy too much rainbow cookies. We didn't get any rainbow cake from anybody. I don't know what happened. We didn't get. We didn't. They buy too much of everything. They buy too much matzah. I mean, I've had matzah that I bought. I threw out after 3 years because we didn't want to eat it anymore. What do you need? Do you need 10 pounds of matzah? Maybe. How much matzah do you really eat after the storm?
Has matzah really gotten that more expensive in the last few years that they charge so much for it, or is it just
don't you go shopping? Don't you shop?
I didn't 4 years ago, but why is matzah so expensive nowadays?
Well, it's what they say, $45 a pound, but
that's crazy.
You can get it for how much? $12 a pound, you said, in some places. Where? Bingo, you can get it for $12 a pound. Costco, how much? $16 a pound. I don't know what the difference is between that and the 45. I saw a story yesterday where the Satmar Matzah Bakery in Borough Park was robbed overnight, and
what?
It was robbed. It was robbed a few weeks ago, actually, February 28th. It was robbed. They caught the guy just this week. He stole $63,000 in cash and $34,000 in checks. Now, I guess they had to wait a few weeks to release the information because most of the checks were probably post-dated. So they had to wait for the checks to be good in order to.
That's your assumption.
That's my translation. That's my interpretation of the story.
I think we should start a matzah bakery. Like that's the business to be in.
Yeah.
What are those margins like?
I have no idea. What do you have?
What does it cost what does it cost to make a pound of matzah that you're charging $45 for?
You have flour, you have water, you have the cheapest kind of wrapping, the simplest type of box with a little string.
So you have labor, but like no one I've never heard someone getting rich off of being a matzah baker.
I wouldn't say that. You don't know any matzah bakers. I think people do very well in matzah bakeries. Don't forget.
Well, the people baking or the people who own? The people who own the matzah bakery or the people who are actually...
The people who own. The question is, at $45 a pound, what does it cost to produce a pound of matzah? What does it cost?
That's literally what I asked 30 seconds ago.
Well, let's say it costs $20 a pound.
No way. There's no way.
No, I'm talking about with your rent, with your payroll, with your insurance.
Okay.
You got
great margins.
You got to count that all. You got to tabulate all that. You got to calculate all that. So if a guy comes away with $10 or $20 profit on a pound, I think, and he sells 100,000 pounds, he's doing okay.
Yeah, we're gonna start a matzah bakery. There's some great underrated businesses. Like, forget about being a doctor, forget about being an accountant, forget about being a lawyer. Start a matzah bakery, kids, because that's where the money is at. That's all I could say.
It's not right for us to calculate how other people are doing. We really shouldn't do that.
I'm not calculating how anyone's doing. I'm just saying the fact that a pound of matzah goes for $45, the margins must be great. And it seems like a very good industry. Any industry that you must, like, you need to buy matzah more than, unfortunately, you need to go to the doctor. People haven't been to the doctor in 10 years. Yeah. I'm not saying it's the right thing, but they buy matzah every single year.
There are some things that genuinely went up in cost, and legitimately the cost is being passed on to the consumer. But there are some things that pretty much stayed the same or went up slightly, and people are exploiting this inflation situation and really making the prices skyrocket and increasing profits. That's one of the things that they accuse the oil companies of, The second that Saudi Arabia says they're going to cut back on oil production, gas goes from $3.23 a gallon to $4.50 a gallon. Even though the cutback that they want to do in oil production is not going to have impact for about 8 months or a year. But right away the price goes up, and that's where they make their billions of dollars of profit.
Yeah.
So what are these people? What are these people going to do? That's a good question. What are these people going to do? Where are they going to go for Pesach? A lot of people are going to start cleaning their homes and go home, stay home. I guess that's always an option.
I have to imagine that there's got to be, at least some local programs that are going to benefit, and they're going to get a bunch of, maybe they didn't sell out all rooms, so now they're going to sell out the rest of the rooms. Pesach, okay. Honestly, I'll tell you, Pesach hotels scare me. anytime you have like hundreds or you have thousands of Jews in one hotel for an 8-day period, it just scares me. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just
I don't know what you're scared about. I mean, we've been doing it for most of, probably 25 of the last 30 years, or definitely 20 of the last 30 years.
No, we've been home more than that.
When you guys were younger, I don't know. I don't know what the circumstances were. It depended what else was going on in our lives. But I think I think we've been away a lot over the years. Am I making a mistake about that?
No, we definitely have been. And I'll tell you one bad Pesach Hotel experience, it could definitely undo 10 good ones. That's like the nature of the beast. You have a bad Pesach experience in a hotel, and it's brutal. But I'll tell you, a lot of people, right? What are the numbers? You have a lot of people that stopped going to hotels. They started to rent houses in Orlando. They're going to Encore. They're going to this, going to that.
That's not so simple either. Plenty of people over the last few years showed up at their house they think they rented in Orlando 2 or 3 days before Yontif, and somebody else was living in the house because somebody else rented it for a higher price before them.
We've heard it. We've heard of that. No, we have heard of that. I don't think it's a normal occurrence. We have heard of that. We also have heard of the boxes from the supermarkets just being plopped off on a front lawn and saying, every man for themselves, take your stuff. So you know what? Honestly, the safest bet when it comes to Pesach is to stay home.
Oh, you think so?
I know you don't. I know people don't want to hear it.
Are you staying? Are you going to be home this Yontif?
Well, I'll spending half of Yontif, at my in-laws at home.
Okay.
Sidarim at home.
So that's not your home. It's at their home.
I know, but that is a home. It's not a hotel. It's not a. And I have nothing against hotels. I'm gonna be second days with you guys, but like I'm just saying, like the safest bet is to definitely stay home.
It's certainly very nice to be at home, and I enjoyed it a lot being at home. It's a lot less hassle. No packing, no traveling. I don't.
Also, the small things, like I remember after going away for many years, we were home. We started being home. We were home for Sedarim, and just a simple fact of the Seder ending, and then you just basically could just 3 steps later walk into your bed, and not have to just mingle through the lobby and get caught up in conversation. And
probably before you were born, I'm remembering back to the 80s. I think before you and Nissen were born, we had 4 little kids. Malki and Yochanan and Dini and Dovi, and we used to have our own table. We'd make a Seder. You guys, those guys were maybe 8 and 6 and 4 and 2, and they would just fall asleep by the Seder, and we had to bring chairs over from the other tables, and they would lay down on 2 chairs. And the hardest part of the whole thing was to get these bodies over your shoulder and lug them back to your room.
I can't imagine you carrying. I can't imagine you carrying any bodies.
Well, I guess you don't have a good imagination, I guess, because that's how we got them back to their rooms.
Did you not enforce Pesach day naps before the Seder?
You can't enforce that. No one ever listens.
Oh no, I beg to differ.
You never listened.
I beg to differ.
You never listened. Maybe you know what? Maybe this year you're going to have a Erev Pesach nap. I think with your.
No, to be honest,
with your daughter,
it's overhyped. It's overhyped. I'll tell you why. Because as an adult, right, like as a kid going to sleep at 12, 1 o'clock. As an adult going to sleep I go to sleep most nights at midnight, so it's not like. Can
you take a nap in the afternoon? Do you ever take a nap? Have you done that? Do you have that on your daily schedule? Maybe you do. I don't know.
It's certainly not. It's certainly not on my daily schedule. How about you? I think it is on your daily schedule.
I think you're wrong again. It's not on my daily schedule.
I think it is.
I think it is. I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong again. I don't nap.
Oh my gosh!
It's not true. I drink too much coffee to be able to fall asleep. Coffee.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! You're wrong. I don't know why you insist on trying to maneuver me into that kind of corner. Just to
you don't. 1 second. I haven't been home. I haven't been home on a regular basis since I got married 4 years ago. But you're telling me when you come home from work, you don't take a nap.
You say, are you accusing me of working? You guys, you've been saying for years that I don't work. So now you have me working, and now you have me napping. So you're changing your mind about everything.
Wow, you should have been a lawyer. You should have been a lawyer or a politician.
I thought you were going to be a lawyer or a politician.
Maybe I'm a both. But let's spend the last few minutes of this episode talking about, and I guess we'll visit it next week as well, leading up to Pesach. But Sedarim, the average Seder, what time does that end? I always grew up something that Chabad does, and to be honest, my first year getting married, it was a shock for me when Chabad doesn't do nirtza by the Seder.
Right.
So
we finish after benching and we say a couple of
Hallel.
things. Nishma Hallel, finish Hallel. Nishmas maybe Lashon Haba Yerushalayim, and that's it.
Zahu, and that's it. Nirtza is long. Nirtza has potential to take another hour and a half.
But that's the two biggest questions that from Jews get asked in the course of the year is what time you finish your Seder and what time you finish davening on Rosh Hashanah. Why people so curious about that? Nobody asks anybody what time they finish on Yom Kippur, because Yom Kippur has a zman that you're fasting a whole day. You don't have to rush home to eat. And if it's over 7:22, if it ends 7:22, over is over. But Rosh Hashanah, you got to know what time did you start. I used to have a neighbor in Brooklyn many years ago. It's more than 30 years ago since we've been there. But I used to have a neighbor. He used to daven in a big yeshiva, and he used to start on Rosh Hashanah at 7 a.m. and come home at 5 p.m. And I was and I was brought up in Crown Heights when Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur in 770. We started at 10:30 a.m. and when we had a break and went to go hear the Rebbe blow shofar, and we finished Musaf at 2:30 p.m. And then so you talk about you were shocked by Nirtza. I was shocked by this guy that goes to shul at 7 a.m. and comes home at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, but I think the Sedarim. If you show me 100 Jewish families, I'll show you 100 completely different Sedarim. Completely different. With different minhagim. There are some families that act out the entire Seder. There are some families that just read it and they eat and and they go on. It's so interesting. I will say one thing. A Seder at home is, I would say, so much better than a Seder generally in a hotel.
Well, it's not so bad if you have a private, quiet room where the kids could run around these days, anyway, as opposed to a big, noisy dining room.
I know, but even if your Seder is ultimately running on the on the kitchen's timing and on the waitstaff's timing and I don't know. That's my personal opinion. It's not a fact. It's not a fact.
If you're going away for Yontif, if you're going to a hotel, if you're able to go to a hotel, if you want to go to a hotel. If someone's treating you or something along those lines, some kind of extenuating circumstance, you have to make sure you hook yourself up with people that have experience. Honest people that have to have experience in the business. These guys that go into the program because they think that there's big money to be made, like you're thinking about a matzah bakery. I'm sure there's a lot of hard work in a matzah bakery. I'm sure if you investigated it, you would say, you know what, that matzah bakery idea wasn't such a good idea. Let's do something else. So
maybe we'll visit a matzah bakery on the Daily Thread, and we'll do like a live.
Someone told me yesterday that there's a bingo opening up here in the Five Towns in a few months. So someone told me yesterday, a business guy on Central Avenue, he said, you know what? I'm renting the store right next to bingo. I'm opening up a kosher pizza store. I said, oh, really? That sounds like a good idea. So what's there now? I go, it's a non-kosher pizza store there right now, but I'm going to buy from the guy and I'm going to make a kosher pizza store. I said to him, did you check to see if Bingo's going to be making their own pizza? He said, yeah, I got to check into that. It's like opening up a pizza store next door to Costco, Costco serves their own pizza for $1 a slice. You can get a whole pie for $8, Yeah. So this guy could invest a couple of $100,000 to open up a kosher pizza store next to Bingo, which sounds like a great idea, but he has to get and even if Bingo is not going to be serving their own pizza, if this guy's going to be doing well, what do you think Bingo's going to do 6 months later? Starts making their own pizza.
6 months? You mean 6 weeks? Anyways, that's our episode for today. The moral of the story is do your research and check your wiring information.
Stay home.
And if you want,
check the spelling of wherever you're wiring the money to.
Exactly. Well, wishing everyone the best. We will see you again, Mirz Hashem, on Monday. Have an amazing, amazing Shabbos.